my name is Vladimir. I came from Berlin here, and I present here a virtual reality experience, Repriloid Synth. Well,
is this a personal project or the outcome of a collaboration?
Well, we collaborate with my colleague, 3D artist. I do like computer graphics and scripting on the game, and she helps me with 3D modeling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Please tell us a little bit more about the work. I understand that there is a conceptual part and a more technical part.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this experience, the idea is you are an alien in the space, and you have this weird alien musical instrument. You have to like understand how to play, and while you're playing it, you're changing a surface of the planet. So you have this really strange interface, and you have this weird hands with the 6 fingers, and while you're touching the strange alien interface, you're seeing these visuals, and it kind of affects the planet, like you are in the space nearby the planet. Well, this whole idea of the experiment was to build like a VR experience, which is also like an audio-visual. So it has a part where you can create music and just make some sounds. It really built around visual aesthetics a lot and interactions. So it's like one of the main ideas. And the other idea is like the hardware part. We're using special controllers for that, which is like a prototypes right now. And you can track the fingers, each finger. It's like one of the first VR experiences where you can use all your fingers and really interact with the world around you. That was part of the concept. So for example, you have a drum machine which you can interact with each of your fingers, and like a strange surface you can put fingers on, and it's like tracking each interactions in between. So it's like, so far it's quite unique experience because people don't use like finger tracking that much, which I think really important to interact with the world with your hands.
And it makes the virtual experience much more intense, I suppose, to actually use the different parts of your hand.
Yeah, it's much more like personal and accurate when you can use more of your body parts. And for example, one of the special thing about virtual reality, the physical interactions around you, that you can touch objects, and human even like have a special, like a different part of the brain responsible for that, which we don't have in video games, for example. So it's like a pretty new thing that design games and experiences with the physical interactions. Yeah.
That sounds very, very interesting, actually. And from the artwork, let's talk a little bit more about yourself. What is your background, and how come you chose this way to create art?
Well, I studied physics and computer science, and I've been programming all my life, and I studied arts, but most of the stuff I learned by myself, because a lot of things I'm using right now, they're pretty new. Like I studied interaction design, which is like maybe 5 years, which became like pretty mainstream. It's like a science about how like computer-human interactions. Then user experience design, how to design experiences which are really pleasant for the end user. Also, my main background is computer graphics, and I built a lot of experiences in the past, which are really visually based on aesthetics, like like really strong visual aesthetics. I guess that's like a main thing what I'm good at. And like I did video games for like several years, and last 2 years I switched completely to virtual reality and augmented reality, but because it's a new medium, and for me it's interesting to invent new things. It's still, you can say something new and like invent things which weren't there before in other mediums, like even video games.
I feel that you're a little bit challenged also by the fact that it is new and by the fact that you're also in a way building yourself up to it. You seem to study along and try to figure out different aspects on how you want to achieve this new thing that you cannot really define with one word.
Well, I'm just curious about this, and I kind of learn things on my life, and this is like really inspires me to do art. I think, well, I think now all the technology is running really fast, and there are a lot of things you cannot even learn in university. The whole educational system is just built a bit differently, that you study something for years and then you're using it on the industry or in arts. But now the technology is developing so fast that it's way easier to learn them by your own. Especially with the new fields like virtual reality and augmented reality. It's like, it's so new, it's just like people still inventing it, and the whole scene is still building up. Like. And
you have the chance to actually use something, the equipment you referred to before, in an artwork while still being in the form of a prototype. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing, to be like a researcher, and like it's like a science. I like after finishing studies, I actually wanted to be a like a scientist, and yeah, but it was like quite hard, and like because I'm from Russia, and it was like quite hard to do it there. But I have this background, just go through a lot of this paper, like just science papers, and most of the stuff I work with, for example, is computer graphics, and you have to read a lot of papers from just universities, and like it's just like scientific papers with the huge formulas. And I mean, I'm just lucky that I have this background, and then I can use them doing art. Perfect, yes.
I don't know, and to have an opportunity to use the hardware, like newest hardware, which is not even available on the market right now. It's exciting. Like you feel like you like innovator, you know. I don't know.
It definitely has the mentality of a laboratory. Definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we close with an overall impression of the festival? How was this experience for you?
Well, I would say when we came here, we didn't know much, but I've been in the city a couple of times before, so I was like really excited to come again. But I'm surprised. It's like it's super well organized, and like I've been to a lot of events this year, but this one is really well made. It's like this pavilion, you know, it's a really good mixture of different media arts. It's really good, like that people could be introduced to different kinds of arts, and people can exchange. Even like we met here several other artists who are doing other kinds of media arts, and it's really interesting to talk about the differences and exchange knowledge. And in general, like we also spoke a lot with organizers, and like I really liked the way they designed the whole space, and it's really giving a good feeling. Like I don't know, I really liked it, to be honest.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.